These are the solutions for assignment 1.3, measuring segments, distance, and midpoint. The directions say to find the distance between the following points using the number line. So we're looking at point A and point F. And the formula for the distance is we take the first point and we subtract the second point and we find the absolute value of that. So let's just identify our points. A is at -5. So I'm going to just mark a little -5 there, and I'm going to say that's my first point. And F is way over here. F is between 5 and 6, so it's going to be 5.5. So I take my -5 and my minus 5.5. When they have the same sign, you add them and you keep the sign. So that's going to make -10.5, and the absolute value of -10.5 is 10.5. And we can verify that by counting on the number line. So going from point A to point F, if we start at A and we move to the right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. And that's what we got. Number 2, points D and E. So again, label your points. D is going to be here between 1 and 2, so I'm going to write that down as 1.5, and E is at 0. So 1.5 minus 0, and the absolute value of that, well, 1.5 minus 0 is just 1.5, and the absolute value of that is just 1.5. And again, if you want to verify, start at D, and we're moving to 0, and we're finding the distance. So I'm going 1 unit and a half. And it doesn't matter the direction, distance is always positive. That's why you're doing the absolute value of it. All right, point A and point B. A is at -5. B is at -3. -5 minus -3. This time we have a double negative here, so that becomes positive. And so -5 plus 3 is -2, and the absolute value of -2 is, whoops, I don't need the absolute value bars, I'll just go ahead and box it. And let's just verify. So we're at -5, and we're going to 2 units to the right, and we get to B. Okay, number 4, point C and F. C is at -1. F is, again, between 5 and 6, so that's 5.5. -1 minus 5.5. Okay, they're the same sign, so we add them and we keep the sign, and the absolute value of -6.5 is 6.5. Let's verify, starting at C, and we're going all the way to F. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half. Okay, number 5, if KL is 27, KM is 84, what is LM? Okay, so let's start by drawing a picture. So I'm going to have a number line, and I'm going to put K right here. And I know the distance from K to L is 27 units. So I don't know if it's going to be on the left side or the right side, so you can really just pick a side. We know that the distance here is 27. Okay, and then we know that KM is 84, but it doesn't tell us. Is M over here? Because that could be a possibility, 84 units this way. Or is M on the other side? And from K to M, you know what, let me change the color there so we can just see it. Let's put M over here, and maybe this, and it's not drawn to scale, so maybe this is 84. So we actually have 2 answers in this case because it doesn't specify that L is between. So as long as you have a true statement, from K to L we have 27. K to M is 84. If we move M on the right side, we could have 84 this way. If we put M on the left of K, well, we could have 84 this way. So what is LM? That's our question. So let me pick another color. From L to M, this is the question. Or is it this value? You're going to have 2 answers. So in order to find this first one, if the whole thing is 84 and this piece of it is 27, then we find the difference. So it would be 84 minus 27. Do a little subtraction. 7 and 57. So we could say that L to M, if M is on the right, is 57 units. Now, if M is on the left, we can say from L to M is the 27 units here plus 84 more units to M. So in this case, we're going to be adding the two amounts. So here's the second option, 27 plus 84. And that's 11, and that's also 11, so that would be 111 units. So you have two answers for that one. Make sure you're reading the questions carefully. In number 6 and 7, it says find the missing point if W, R, and S are points on a number line, and W is the midpoint. Okay, so now we know if W is the midpoint of RS, we know that W is right here. Now, I don't know if R is on the right or if R is on the left of W. So let's look at the values. It says that R is at 4 and S is at -6. So if S is at -6, S needs to be on this side. And R, if we're looking at a number line, would be on the right. And the question says find W. Okay, so let's first find the distance between S and R. And we find the distance by subtracting the two, so -6 minus 4. And we take the absolute value of that, so that's absolute value of -10, which is 10. So we know that there are 10 units between. So if W is the middle, if we take half of 10, well, half of 10, 1/2 of 10, that's 5 units. So there are 5 units to the left and 5 units to the right. Okay, does that make sense? And so if I want to find what W is, start at -6, add 5 makes -1. If we start it on the right side, we would subtract 5. 4 minus 5 is -1. And so W is the middle, which is -1. Let's try another problem. All right, so we have W is -4, S is 2. We know that W is the midpoint. So this time we're given the value of W. And S is 2, so let's put S on the right side. And that means R is going to be on the left side. So it's very important reading the question. So we know that the distance from W to S, let's see, -4 minus 2 is absolute value of -6, which is 6. So we know that this is 6 units to the right. So that means if W is in the middle, we've got 6 units to the left as well. And so if we're moving to the left, we're going to subtract -4 minus 6, which is -10. And so R is going to be at -10. Two more problems. Number 8, it says use the given information, answer the following questions. M is the middle. If M is the middle, then these are congruent pieces. The left side, A to M, is equal to M to B. So 3x is equal to 54. And this is just a simple algebra problem. Let's see, 3 into 54, a little division here. 24, 3 into 24 goes 8 times, 24, 0 remainder. So we know that x is equal to 18. And then from A to B, if we want to find the whole distance, if we know that M to B is 54, that means A to M is also 54, and 54 twice is 108. So without really having to do a whole lot of math, we can figure that out. Number 9, M is the midpoint. So again, these are congruent. They are equal. So 2x plus 6 is equal to x plus 14. This is just an algebra problem. Let's subtract x from both sides. Subtract 6 from both sides, and x is equal to 8. All right, so now we want to find what QM is. So let's plug 8 in for the x. So 2 times 8 plus 6. 16 plus 6, and we get 22. QM is 22. Now QS, that's the length of the whole piece from Q to S. Well, if this piece is 22, That means this piece is 22, and 22 twice is 44. So the answer for QS is 44. If you still need some help, please come to tutoring.